This is a quick video to show how you can use the Memory tab in Chrome Development Tools to find memory leaks. Too long, didn't watch. You can use the memory section within Chrome Dev Tools to find memory leaks. You can click on an area. The blue spike here is showing you memory that was allocated and potentially not freed. When you click in that area, it will show you all of the elements that are being allocated, and here we see detached, and that's showing you that there is a memory leak going on. I can expand that area and click on it, and it will actually show me the thing that's causing the memory leak. We can click on the link there, and it will actually take us to our source code. So now I'll explain the process in a little bit more detail. So I have a little test application where I have different buttons that will add elements to the DOM or remove elements from the DOM. That's what we're going to focus on here. I've got a couple of other buttons for doing other things, but the focus here is adding and removing DOM elements. So looking at the code, we have an element list, and the function add elements to the DOM, which is called when we click on that button, will just loop through and create 500 DOM elements. We are just creating a button that has some styling, and then we're pushing that element onto the element list. Then of course we're calling append child to append that to the DOM. When we remove the elements, if I click on that button, it calls this function, and we just walk through that element list, and for each one of them we remove that. However, if you'll notice, since we push these onto an element list, we do remove them from the DOM, but there's still a reference in this array, and so that causes a memory leak, and we'll show how we can find that. So when you bring up Dev Tools, you go to the memory section, and the first thing that I'll show you here is that I've already done a recording, and that's what you will do. You will click on here to start a recording. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. I don't need it. So I'm going to clear that out, and also I'm going to press the garbage can to collect garbage. Now when I do a recording, I'm going to set allocation instrumentation on timeline, and I'm not going to check record stack traces because I don't need the stack traces. So the basic process we're going to do is we're going to start a recording, we're going to use the application, and then stop the recording and see if there's any memory that's been leaked. So I start the recording, switch to the application, add some elements, and then remove some elements, and then stop the recording. And this spike here is where we see the memory being allocated. Now we have this whole window that is showing everything that's happened in this time, so we can actually drag and select an area of interest. And I can click on an area, and it will automatically create a little window. And we're looking for detached elements. And you can see here we've got 500 detached elements. And if you remember, that's how many items we added. So this is actually the memory leak going on here. If I expand that and then click on these different items here, the children, we can see what is actually causing that memory allocation. Here we see element list, and if I click on here, it will bring up the source code, and we see it's this function here that is causing the memory leak. And as we see, switching back to the memory, it's the element list. So when we look at the sources, it's the pushing to the element list, and we never actually remove it from the element list. Now an easy way to do that is just to set the element list length to 0. Now to show that that fixes the problem, I'm going to go back to the memory. I'm going to go ahead and delete that recording there. I'm going to start a new recording. Go back to the application. I'm going to add the elements and remove the elements just like before, but this time I'm also going to set the list length to 0. Then we go back to our recording and stop it. And you'll notice that there are those spikes here. When we click on them though, we see that we don't have any detached elements. So as I look on here, there's nothing detached, and I can double click and it'll expand everything, and I can look for detached. And so there's some detached items here, but none of them are related to the element list. So you can continue to explore and to see what's happening with the application. So that's just a very quick overview on how to use the memory section to look for some types of memory leaks, and I hope that was helpful.